Gotta thug it. We thugging and we loving and we loving and we thugging.
We are live once again. Episode 5. Episode 5. Now this one right
we
here,
have really been on our shit. I'm proud of us.
I'm very proud of us. Consistency is key. Look at that. Even nothing is holding us back. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's staying on track. You know, I've been loving it though. I've been loving the information people been actually giving, you know, our support, DM me that they love the show. They love everything that we bring to this show. They've been loving the guests. So, you know, what up, family?
Hey. All time. I know that's right.
So, you know, we are staying consistent. I need to check with my guests for this Tuesday coming up. If not, I was also thinking about just like opening it up to the old guests, like the ones that from the first time we did it, to see what they've been up to. I think I got a couple of guests in mind that I want to actually bring up out here. You know what I mean?
Let's get a little update. See what they got popping. I like it.
What up? Ali Moo. No, what's called it? Yeah, I've been loving it. But tonight we are touching on a topic that needs to be discussed on. And we already know how I feel about this topic, man. Solo poly. Solo poly.
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. Consensual side piece. I know what is it? A solo poly. I always get them confused. Like consensual side piece. Like we know about the side piece. The side piece is there. No, in all honesty, right? In all honesty, it's like I told you. I could be as inconsistent, how consistently inconsistent I am with my life because it's everywhere. I could be the perfect comment solo.
No, because you still gotta be consistent, baby.
What's a comment?
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it.
Because shit, the way my life's set up right now, I'm gonna be a comment. Solo poly, polyamory, shit. But yes, without further ado, I cannot wait to get in this topic. A lot of people don't understand what solo poly is, right? You know, how to maneuver in those spaces. And I love tonight's guest, Natasha. Tell us a little bit about our guest tonight.
So I met Dr. Camilla in our Instagram space, and I had her on during my King special, Natasha After Dark, which is coming back. So y'all be ready for that. But I had her as a guest, and we talked about like the psychology of kink, because don't get it twisted. Sis is a PhD, okay? She does all the things. She is a full-blown doctor, a therapist. So she knows all the things when it comes to like the breakdown of mental health, of relationships, of the whole gamut. Plus, she just happens to be a beautiful ass, fine ass, bad ass polyam sis. I mean, so she has everything covered all into one. She's an amazing, beautiful, wonderful woman, ridiculously intelligent. So she is going to be here to give us all the jewels. Y'all please get your pen and paper, get it ready, because y'all are going to get some.
I'm very familiar with her. I do talk to her. We talk in the background. You know what I mean? She's a good friend. I'm trying to lay on her couch to get what?
Are you sure that's all you're trying to do on this sofa?
As long as you can deal with a comment solo polyamorous man.
I hate.
You see how that rolled off? You see how that man? We gonna talk about it without further ado. This is tonight's guest, the wonderful, the beautiful. Do I say Dr. Camilla?
Yes, absolutely, Doctor. You better give her her Doctor.
The beautiful Dr. Camilla. I'm gonna be laying on the couch soon.
Camilla. I just
put it out there.
Well, yeah. Okay, so one room of clarification. I am actually not a psychologist. So I'm not a PhD. I'm a psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah. I do therapy though. And but no, I'm a medical doctor. So
that part.
Yeah, we be sensitive about that, y'all.
Please no. the M and the D. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. The M and the D, it's real. She worked for that shit.
Yeah. She made that shit happen, and I salute that. And you come with it, and we have some great conversations on the background. I do want to sit there and say that. So I love always when we engage into our conversations, engage with each other, and go deep with some certain things. That's why I wanted you for this piece. But yes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, live in Houston, originally from California. I have been here since 2014. Came here for I did my residency at Baylor College of Medicine. I just have been grinding and working hard. I have 3 kids who are my world. I'm very proud. I have a 21-year-old, 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And I'm really just like a free ass woman, just enjoying my life, kind of living in the moment. I work hard, play hard. That's kind of my philosophy on everything.
I love that. I love that. And you actually have been living. I've been seeing you travel. I've been seeing you do the things.
This was all at Carnival, doing all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
serving body.
Yeah, let me tell you. So this was my first time at Carnival, and I just wasn't prepared for the level of everything it was going to do to me. And I'm like, it's almost like my friend was like, we're just gonna go to Carnival. I'm like, okay, cool. And like, she's like, really, it's like you can't go to a marathon and just be like, oh, today I want to go to the marathon. You really got to prepare for that shit. I was not, my body, like I'm just now in a space where I can walk normally. I have never partied that hard. Just enjoy, like I still got bruises from my feathers and everything, but it's okay. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to Barbados in August for crop over. I will be back in Trinidad next year. It was just really a good time. Everybody should go to Carnival at least once.
I definitely appreciate it. You be living life, and I don't even knock it. So my question is how did you find yourself in this poly community?
I have always been in monogamous relationships. I've been married twice, always in long-term relationships. I was only single like after 15 years of marriage for 6 months before I was like in a serious relationship. And one of the things that I found is I'm like, every man I've ever been with has cheated on me, right? Like, I was like, how do we, it was really a challenging of myself. Like, if unfortunately, like this, maybe it isn't as abnormal as we think it is, right? Like this seems to be a part of what people do. And even coming to the point where having to accept, like, damn, like my husband really loved this woman, like, and what did that mean for me? But really, when I got into my 3-year relationship, wanting to just do something different. But first, I played with other couples because it was all new to me. And just really like learning and seeing like what are the things about myself that I can accept, what is a realistic expectation, and really like enjoying the concept of allowing people to be themselves and choose, and kind of not being attached to this concept that like there is just one person who was supposed to be our everything, that maybe that's unrealistic.
Oh, I like that. You came with it. But I do want to ask you. You deal with poly families, right? You deal with people who live in a monogamous lifestyle.
Yes, I have. Like, you mean professionally?
Yes, professionally.
Yes.
Yes, I also want you to mention that because those that come on here, they know who to go to that needs that help and assistance. The overall goal here is to make sure we're placing people in the right place with the right people to help them through any situation. And I know your background work and all you do. When we spoke previously, you be really out there doing that work, and we need that. We need people like you in the forefront. So I definitely wanted to mention that as well. So make sure y'all need something, y'all reach out. She's there for it, and she's there to help. And I can at least sit there and say, yeah, I trusted this one too as well. We have some great conversations.
For sure.
So anything else you want to add before I go into my rant of solo poly?
No, I'm ready for your rant. And I think what did you call it? Consensual side chicks? What the fuck? I've heard that before.
Consensual side chicks.
I'm a shit.
And even that it's only targeted at women, as if there aren't plenty of solo poly men. I just
find
it interesting that, but it feels very much okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with you said the side piece. I don't know.
Because I will be a proud side piece. You know what I mean? Let Beyonce tell me I can't let Jay know. But if you want, that's it. It's a wrap. Yeah, I mean, me and Bay go way back. But you know, no. But
way back to you buying her album.
Right.
The hate is real. No, for those that don't know and don't understand what solo poly is, can one of you guys go ahead and break that down?
So what solo poly is essentially you are your own primary partner, right? So each person that comes into your life, and that is still a committed and relationship, like yet and still, like it still has all the things, all the aspects of a traditional relationship, but you come first for you. So anybody else that comes, and wants to be a part of your life, they come second to you, to your needs, to what you want, because you are your primary. Like your sole mission is to take care of you. And that does not mean that you're not going to take care of who you're with outside of you. But when it comes down to it, you are your own primary partner.
Yes. And I've kind of also, because labels are so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It is still kind of, even like any poly definition, is still specific to you, and it can shift and grow and expand as you grow and expand and have experiences. Because I also kind of fall into relationship anarchy as well. Not like the hardcore, but from the concept of, yes, my primary relationship is with myself. I would argue that should be everyone's primary relationship, right? Like, because if you ain't working on self or ain't focused on self, then you really can't be everything for anyone else. Right. But I just would like to add that I don't necessarily place a hierarchy on my romantic connections. So, or other connections. I like everything in my life I try and make as much balance of. So like my children don't belong to me. They are people who I have been gifted with to guide through adulthood, and they're their own people. They're not mine. And I feel that way also about like friendships, my career, my dogs, like everything is kind of equal. And so my time and energy is spread equally. So I would not put things with my romantic partner or partners above my friendships. Like they all have value for me.
And that puts you in the position of the relationship anarchies that you were speaking about.
Right.
I like that. No, I see that. But that's and man, I'm gonna get to that later, because that's one of my things I want to speak on. You was coming with it. I said, God damn it. No, I'm just saying. No, but I'm definitely someone asked a question. Shout out to Toya. What are the benefits of being a part of the poly community? Does those who are deemed the gatekeepers actually hold those a part of the community accountable to certain do's and don'ts? I mean,
you know what? Those that are deemed quote unquote gatekeepers, it depends on who deemed them as such. Did they deem themselves gatekeepers, or do they really hold a heavy following of other people who are legitimately living and loving and being in this love style? That's the difference, because there are people that deem themselves to be all kinds of things, but that doesn't mean that they are that. So like what the poly community is and what it does, it's just like any other community. It's like your family. These are people who live in love the same way that you do, to a degree. Of course there are differences depending on what your dynamic is, but overall, these are people that live in love differently and in accordance to how you live in love and the way that you do. And so we are able to provide each other that level of community and understanding, because we deal with the same kinds of things. We deal with the same kinds of pressures. We deal with the same kind of, negative influences from people who are not a part of our love style. We deal with the same kind of relationship issues that we can understand on a different level than someone, who is a monogamous person. There's just a different set of issues and a different set of things and just a different life and love that we live, that you need other people that are a part of this family to be able to bounce things off of, because you can't really have conversations with someone who is monogamous about poly issues, especially someone who is a closed-minded monogamous person. Now, people that are open-minded, who understand that they're gonna, love you regardless, of course, because when it comes to relationships are relationships, generally speaking. But it just depends on how open they are to understanding where you are. So it's just a lot easier when you have a group of like-minded people that can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I love this statement, because there's not much of gatekeeping that I agree with, but this right here, yes, protecting our community from predatory behavior feels like gatekeeping to some people. Yes, I mean that's because I seen the recent events, and they do come out and be like, yo, 86 this person to protect, then keep word out because of what's going on. But gatekeeping also at the end of the day, it's hard because poly's not cookie cutter. So a polygamist can't tell a polyamorous individual who practice polyamory what, if they're doing it right or wrong, because those are two different things. So it's very difficult when it's like the gatekeepers, because what are you gatekeeping? You just want to put your preference on everybody else. So it's like, But what V just wrote, I do agree with that, definitely. And also what V wrote, I fully want to add this too, because I was going to mention about this, but solo poly for me means I don't desire to cohabitate, commingle finances, or raise children with any partner, no relationship escalator. And we're going to talk about the relationship escalator too. Y'all coming with everything that I'm going to talk about down the line. Y'all rushing my questions.
All the terms that us poly people make up.
Oh man, look, no, we not talking about that. Check out the interview with 8 at the Table, dropping soon. You heard? Let's call it anyway. So, what is the difference from dating, situationships, and just being single that it is from solo poly?
So, solo poly is, and actually I agree with the last comment. I will not mix finances. I have no desire to have any more children. I don't want to live with anyone. Those are all really big things. I don't have any desire for that. As a matter of fact, it's like a deal breaker. But the difference between being single is that I'm not, right? Or at least, well, right now I'm kind of single, but is that I can be in, and I actually desire committed long-term relationships, right? And so I hate to say this because I feel like Alex is gonna run with this, but
I'm coming with pushback.
I've actually, as I've developed, I used to be like, I want like 2 to 3 boyfriends and a couple, and actually I realized I don't want that. If I can appreciate myself, I actually desire, just because of the way my life is and the way I am. I like to be intentional about everything that I do. I have a really difficult time giving energy to more than one person, right? Mm-hmm. Because I give energy. And so I actually desire for my partner to have another partner. And and I could be very content with one person, romantically. Mm-hmm. And because I also feel like I'm just fulfilled so many ways and so many different levels, like my most intimate, and I don't mean sexually intimate, but intimate relationships are definitely with my friends. And so, I think that a lot of what people just expect of their partners, I receive from my friendship. And that's something I take great value in. And so being single, versus, I guess you can be a single solo poly person, and you can be a lot of solo poly people have multiple relationships. Again, the focus is that your primary relationship is just with yourself. And just like there are poly people who are not solo poly who are single. That solo poly people can be single, but the overall objective of where I like to go with relationships is not for a traditional relationship, cohabitation, things like that. I desire that. And I don't really date. Like I really like have gotten out of like I don't have casual sex. I don't have I'm not seeking dating right now. And so if I there was an attachment to that and kind of like an obsession, and I realized that I don't know that it really met my needs. I felt like I was running from myself. And so I've met really interesting people recently, and have found that if we connect, then I'm kind of going to give my energy into what that connection can be. And if it doesn't, then I'm okay letting go of it.
So the vetting process is very important to you.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I
don't think I'm live. I think it's like everybody don't just get to date me. I ain't out like, and my time is valuable.
Selective, honey.
like what you talking about? Like my time is very valuable. So if I am going to incorporate you into my time, it's gonna have to be some serious chemistry and energy. That takes time, but I'm not just like I'm not
rushing the process.
Not rushing the process, not on dating apps, not going out with the intention to meet people. If I met somebody recently actually on the plane back from Trinidad, and like I was supposed to be drunk and go to sleep, and like we ended up talking and connecting that way. And I like interactions like that are kind of unexpected. So
and that happens. Like you flow in. Like I can say, currently, I am solo poly currently, but my goal, my end all be all goal, is to have a primary partner. I don't have one currently, so and that's fine. I can maneuver happily and freely in the space that I'm moving in, and when that time comes, that time comes. But I'm fully and wholly fulfilled in the space that I'm living in, and that's the great thing about being non-monogamous is we can flow however we need to flow and whatever makes us happy. And as long as we're open with the people that we are involved with, all is well.
Right.
And you have that open opportunity to pivot, like, and switch. So I want to go back to, I love how you broke down the vetting process. That's why I wanted to put that out there, how you vet and how strategically you move with who you're talking to. Due to the fact when I ask situationships, people find themselves in situations with other individuals due to the fact that they're not really trying to commit, but they're also trying to protect themselves from getting into a situation that they may not feel like the relationship's really for them. And it's crazy. I was talking to this one woman, and she said she only does situationships due to the fact that she's focused on herself. And she doesn't want her kids, and she doesn't believe that she'll find a relationship that she had with her last her fiance or her ex, basically, right? Because they were growing a family relationship. She was like, since I don't feel like I'm gonna get that, all I'm doing is just enjoying my time in different connections with whoever I want at that moment, and it's my call if I want to just do this or do that. But I don't want to gain nothing out of them unless someone pulls something out of me. And I was just like, well, shit, have you really ever really focused on looking into non-monogamy and understanding your capability in that?
Because that's what she's doing essentially.
Yeah, because that's what I said, obviously I know the man you're dealing with don't know and they're not aware, but if they agree and they're open to that idea, you can maneuver in a different space. I was like, because what's making you choose when you feel like it's going to be the right one for you to go down to just that one person? If you're happy right now in the space you're moving in, what's going outside of, well, if he's good to me and he does and he shows up, you're telling me everything what he does, but what's telling you that you need to show up in that way to be monogamous? She couldn't even answer that question. Now, I think people don't really think about that because they feel like their structure be, of course, guilt shame. We get guilt shamed into actually having to choose monogamy because if we stay the way that other people don't like or agree with, all of a sudden, it messes with us. But I love how you broke down the vetting part is very important because you don't want to find yourself in situationships with other people.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. I don't do situationships.
Either you here all the way or you not here all the way. You show up or you get out.
I'm telling
what you. What are we doing?
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, even granted, I wasn't there for that conversation, but what that sounds like to me, if this is someone who had a family and was in a monogamous relationship and is kind of moving in a way that is still seeking what they had with that last person, that person also hasn't done the work of being completely healed from that relationship. That's what that to me was like.
Mm-hmm.
I took that. Like, I was like,
I ain't comparing nobody to my ex. He an ex for a reason. Like I actually don't want that.
That part.
The example you don't want.
Like, no, so if you're looking for what you have with someone else who isn't there, and then maybe it is best to only do situationships because it sounds like you ain't over that shit.
I know, and that's what I took from it. That's why I was breaking that down. That was just a conversation with a friend. And every time I have a conversation with a friend, I go straight into, let me pick his brain real quick. I need to stop.
No, Latoya, no. She says, so basically instead of saying I'm dating or I have options open, people are saying I'm solo poly. No, because you have relationship. It's not just, you're dating. There are people that I have relationship with. Like, we have a commitment, we have an understanding of what it is that we're doing within our relationship. It's not just, I'm not just casual, with multiple people. Like, there's an understanding. I'm with you, you are with me. What do you need? What do you want from me? You're telling me what you need and what you want from me. And we have a commitment to each other. It's just that you're not my sole commitment.
Right.
That's the difference. So don't think of it as like traditional dating, because although I am still dating other people, I have committed relationships even though I'm dating other people. I hope that makes sense.
So that segues me that segues me into my next question, right? Is there true commitment in solo poly, and how does that look like?
There is, and it looks like whatever you create it to be. Whatever it is that you and your partner or partners decide that you guys want it to be, absolutely. And that commitment can look a billion different ways. Yeah. Because honestly, it's only up to you and the other partner that you have as what y'all are doing within y'all's relationship.
Yeah, I again, like that, what I really like, I have the desire to grow old with someone, to walk through life with someone. We just ain't gonna live together.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And our time is, what I think is that people have a really difficult time thinking of relationships and dynamics differently, right? I'm also want to appreciate that I am in a space right now in my life that this is what I desire. I don't know, when I'm 70, may I feel different? May things look different? If this person I love, I've been committed to, that we have established whatever works for us, gets sick. Would that change? Absolutely. Again, I feel that way about my friends. If my friends got terminally ill or needed to come and stay with me, could they? Yes, I love them. Like that is my obligation to someone that I love. And so it could be different, depending on the phase of life that we're in. But right now in my life, that is not what I desire. But I would like to have a commitment. I'm also very aware I can't do more than 2 people. Like I just couldn't. But I'm also not limiting them on who I really like wives, because I think that like they get to do all the hard work and the mundane tasks of like the day-to-day boring shit, and I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to
do the cooking, do the cleaning, do the child rearing, do all of those things, and we can go have fun.
And not only that, like and this is again ideally, I haven't found this yet, but like but I'm also, if you know, y'all want to go on a vacation and you need a babysitter, I watch your kids. Like you don't have. I think that like you can have someone you trust to look after your kids to help you out. That is something that I would not have a hard time with. As a matter of fact, I would love to be in that situation, especially because then you're not asking me to have kids and stuff. Like, so no, like there are definitely, at least for me. And again, I think that everyone gets to define how they want it to be for themselves, but the desire to have a long-term committed relationship with someone. One time I was reading this article and there was this old couple. They had been married like 30, 40 years. And they lived about 6 hours away, have done this their entire relationship. So once a month they saw each other. And it was just one of the most beautiful dynamics I had ever read. And they were like, you know, I never wanted, the husband said, you know, she's this free spirit extrovert. I like to be at home. He was like a lawyer who like needed to work a lot. And they said, you know, we made a decision that our relationship was going to allow one another the space to be who we are without losing ourselves in the important things in our life. And the husband was like, you know, I didn't want her to give up her friends and her life. And the lady liked to dance for me. And she was like, and I didn't want the same for him. But they also were like, and they just knew that like if we were together every day, we would take each other for granted. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't, that allowing each other to have their free time. But yet when they were together for the week, once a month that they were together, there was nothing outside of us. We don't take calls, we don't work, we don't do. And I thought, how many married people, how many people in committed relationships are together but aren't present?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is one of my, like, I want a relationship. Like when I am with you, I am with you. We not, I ain't doing work. I do work all the time. Like I ain't doing work. I ain't dealing with the kids. I am with you. We are 100% present with one another. Like the quality is what I desire. I think that monogamy and maybe even polyamory can lose quality.
Yeah, agree. And it's so funny that you said that because I was recently talking to my dad, and he met someone that he likes, but she lives in Chicago. He lives in Arkansas, and he was like, I think, you know, he said I will marry her, and she could stay because she has a great career where she is. I have, I own my business where I am, and we can go back and forth and see each other twice a month. And he's like, and that's good because we don't have to get tired of it. And I'm sitting there like, because you talked about me like a dog when I had this whole idea of not living with my spouse, but now here you are talking about this, and I'm like, you really? Come on, Pops. You understand it like what it is like that. It doesn't take away from the quality of your relationship just because of the quantity of the time.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm clingy. I need you around me. You better love on me, goddammit. I'm gonna love on you. What do you want me to say? No. One thing I do agree. Right. One thing I do agree is the space to do whatever you need to do, because when you become too much around each other, you end up losing your individual identity. And I think that the most beautiful part about the situation is when you're able to sit there and look at somebody knowing you don't want to change them and don't want to limit them, and then you present that unconditional acceptance, because that's where a lot of people feel the love. That's how you give love. People always speak, when they say love, they'll give the description of how they think a person needs to, be like, nah, I want to accept you for you, not the idea of what I create in my mind of who you are. Then all of a sudden, once you pass that line, I don't lose my. Well, I don't remember. I can't believe. Nah, I want to leave you with room and error and show grace. But I love that you said that Alex is a big baby. You damn right. You damn right. I'll cuddle me, be on your bosom, gonna hold me.
Not
shit.
Your bosom.
That was something else I wanted to say. I wanted to segue into something else. So I don't even remember what question I asked. That was a good one right there. How do boundaries look in solo poly, and how do they not affect every relationship, or do they alter with every relationship?
you know, the thing about boundaries is that boundaries are like, I have things that I think are my own boundaries, right? Like that I've already stated. But an understanding of boundaries is also dependent upon the person who you are engaged with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Relationships. So what may be a boundary issue with one relationship may not be an issue at all with another one. And so, you know, I think that they look like all other relationship boundaries. If you, and that is first understanding what your own needs and desires are, and being able to work with your partner and communicate what that is, and being honest about them, but also willing to challenge yourself, and be clear about like not setting like ultimatums, you know, outside of like if you walk into a relationship with someone who's like, I don't want children, and you think that you're going to magically change that, then you're setting yourself up for failure, right? And just really, I think for me, staying consistent with what it is, because it does, you know, when you love somebody and you in your emotions, like, okay, maybe we can spend more time together, right? Like, maybe maybe you haven't went home in 5 days, and now one of the days when my kids are here, you're here, you know? And have I been there? Absolutely. And I think that it is all about self, like making sure that like I'm doing a self-assessment of like, okay, there are things that I know are going to be a problem, or things that I know that I'm kind of loosening up on. And I need to first have a conversation with myself about this, and then like really have a conversation with my partner about this, and how can we agree upon doing something that is more healthy, or what we agreed upon first. So
and I think when it comes to boundaries and what that looks like, I have different boundaries with different partners, right? Because everybody doesn't have needs that are the same. So whatever your needs are, we're going to cater to, and we're going to lay down those guidelines for those needs. And then whatever your needs are, we're going to cater, and we're going to lay down those boundaries for those needs. So it doesn't look the same, you know, for every partner that you're with. It's you guys sit, and that's the biggest thing that I think that people need to really understand when you are non-monogamous, is the idea of communication. Communication is number one, right? We have to talk literally about everything. Like, you need to be so self-aware and knowing of what the things that are okay with you, the things that are not okay with you, and you need to be very, very comfortable in expressing those things to your partner. Because that's the only way that this is going to work. So if there's something that you kind of like, I don't know if you would, but you never tell me, I'm going to be out up in these streets hurting you unknowingly. I have no idea that you feel a way about this issue, and wonder why all this underlying attitude. Like, what's no, I'm all right. I'm good.
Now more than that resentment, building that resentment.
Like, what's that? No, you're not good. No, you're not.
Yeah,
what's
I don't
happening?
like
What's going on right now? And that's just you not wanting to keep it a buck with me. And that's important. Like, you gotta let me know what's going on, because baby, I can't read your mind. I don't know what you got going on inside. You got to tell me. You got to let me know what the fuck is going on.
And you know, a lot of people just don't know how to communicate. You know, communication really, we see that with those around us. A lot of people don't know how to communicate. A lot of people ain't really had an example of what a healthy loving relationship looks like. So it's really also learning your partner and really having those really in-depth conversations to kind of understand how to get on that level to get the communication where needed. I don't communicate with Shalon the same as I do with Chantel. I you know, I make sure I maneuver in different spaces with them. But then I also had to reflect on myself to make sure I'm not being reactive and I'm able to respond from a conscious spot, you know, ride my emotions. It's just a lot of studies that you have to do within yourself. So for those that listen, make sure y'all tap in with Camilla. Little drop. You like that? You like that little drop the bombs on them?
Yeah.
You so silly.
What you mean? What you mean? Okay, is there a relationship goal? I know you kind of touched on this one, Natasha, but I still love you for you to go more in depth and talk about it. But is there a relationship goal for those who practice solo poly? Like, is there overall goal at the end of the day?
For some, it just depends. For me personally, I desire primary partnership, but that's not the case for everybody because there are other people who are already married. So they don't desire any more partnership that's quote unquote primary other than themselves because they may even nest, they may not nest. But they may be married to to someone else, so they have all they need in that realm. They have the kids, like they have the whole thing. I don't have those things, so that is a desire for me personally, but that's not for every single case. There are people who already have kids and are good. There are people who don't and who don't want them. There are people who are, married already, and so they don't desire that marriage. There are people who are not and don't desire. It just depends on the individual. So I speak for myself personally, but everybody that's solo poly can speak on their journey individually because it's an individual journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Camilla, I know you had said, at the end of the day, how it's going to look at when you're 70. How do you feel about that? Like, would you say your overall goal is to have that primary partner, go through this experience, and have that primary partner eventually?
No, not like that.
DMs. I'm deleting all our messages.
I love it.
No, honestly, and even I know that I said that I desire to have like someone I'm committed to share life with, to have an intimate connection with. I'm also okay if that never happens. That has probably been one of the freest things for me probably in the last 2 years, is letting go of that idea that if I don't find someone or multiple people to have a long-term commitment with, then like somehow my life will be less fulfilled. It's just not a reality for me. I think that detaching from that has been very healing for me. Mm-hmm. And again, like just the way that, because everything is impermanent, right? Like people are impermanent. We are going to lose people. I think that all relationships end. Death or divorce, it is a very real thing. And I think that this concept that like, if we don't find someone, then like we're lonely or this and that, we can choose for that to be the case. I think that I know a lot of women in particular who feel that way, especially when they hit a certain age. I just reject that. I do. I reject that concept. I think that it would be ideal, but it is not necessary. That there are other things that really, really fulfill me in life. A romantic partner would be nice, but it's not. It's not a necessity. Personally.
That's what I was about to say. It's not a necessity. You know what? But it's also what's crazy, right? Is because then I'm gonna wait till I get to that question because. And I'm gonna speak on it right now because that's the relationship anarchist in you. You're still getting fulfilled within all the other relationships because you don't need that relationship to overcome anything else. And that's what I was trying to explain to people. I was like, at the end of the day, you try to put these concepts of what you believe because you don't understand what a relationship anarchist is, and you want them to still connect, and they can't connect with you on that sense because you don't understand them.
You don't get it.
And what you just explained right now is what people fear. At the end of the day, well, what if I'm alone? What if I'm and that's fine. You don't know what's going to happen. But when you start to look at relationships a little different and you start to understand them different, you're going to find everything what you need right there.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I saw a video, and this video, the mentality of the man in this video is so common amongst our patriarchal society that we live in. Like, he made this story about how, his grandmother, was in the room and she had, 50 other people that came from her, her kids, her grandkids, and she was just like, so fulfilled and like, you don't have kids and you're not going to feel that and your life is going to be. the idea of me having that many people that are connected to my vagina make me want to throw up. Fuck that. Not every woman wants 11,000 goddamn children.
Yeah.
They just don't. And I'm pretty sure if he was to ask that grandmother of his about one of his other cousins, then she'd be like, girl, live your life, because these kids consume my whole goddamn life. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I want to lay down. Fuck these children. Fuck these kids. Fuck all this shit. Live your life. Do what you want to do. I couldn't do shit. I was running behind these kids and changing diapers and running around this sorry ass man who was doing Lord knows what. All the things. But you want to make me feel less than as a woman because I choose not to live my life in the way that you feel that I should be living my life. That shit is bananas. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, even though I want primary partnership, I'll be all right if I don't.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. I want children. That would be great. But it's all right. I'm gonna be good. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to be able to desire these things, and really want these things and to go after those things, but not let that be the end all be all of your life. Don't think that you are less than, or you're not good enough if you don't have these experiences that you may want to have. You can be okay either way, and fully okay either way. Yeah, that's the thing that people aren't comfortable with saying out loud.
I always say, like, there's this, you're gonna die alone,
right?
Like fear, well, here's my argument to that, especially because, like, I'm in medicine. I when I was in medical school and in my intern year, let me tell you, I watched a lot of people die alone. Right? You know who dies alone? Men. Men. Now, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I did a lot of work at the VA, but I mean, like, if I can think about my mother's father who had like 20 kids out in the world and was a Rolling Stone, and I remember seeing this man at the end of his life in a hospital bed alone and afraid, and thinking, when you were younger, you didn't spend the time committing to love and to people that you brought into your relationships. And so I think he had one niece that was like helping to take care of him, kind of, but he was really alone. I had met this man a few times in my life and just happened to be in Dallas and went to go see him. And I've seen plenty of single women, though, die with their friends. With their friends. Somebody holding their hand. And it's like, I may die single. That may be true, but I ain't gonna die alone.
Exactly.
That part I know to be a fact.
And what people don't understand is when it comes to men and women, the longevity of women's lives is extended not by our partnerships or our marriages with men, but by our relationship with women. And men, it's the opposite. Men live longer when they have wives. Yes, women do not live longer when they have husbands. We live longer when we have close.
You might check these statistics.
Check them.
It's true.
People say that, but for real,
it's true.
Let me tell you something. I might die young.
Married men do live longer than single men. That is absolutely true. They do. Marriage does not have an impact on women's lifespan. We usually outlive men anyway. Another argument of mine is that, well, if I date a man within my age range, he's probably going to die before.
He's going to die before me.
Like,
that's what, and don't let me get
so kind of man. Probably be single when I die anyway.
It might be the man that need the assistant that don't know how to really clean and look out after themselves. That probably don't know how to be concerned for their own
and that's
health.
why. And that's why men live longer with marriage, because y'all don't like to do shit. Y'all don't like to go to the doctor.
You can't group us together. You can't group anybody together. You can't group everybody together because shit, I cook. I make sure I'm in the gym. I make sure I get right. I might drink a little bit more.
Statistically speaking, but when it comes to like the raw numbers, men live longer who are married, and that's not the same for women. It's just not. Create a support system. Women are better at doing that because y'all too, men are all, just generally speaking, men are somewhere, oh, that's gay. And like, remember those pictures that are going out right now with Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, just because they hugging, oh, them niggas is gay. And all that. Like, no, y'all can't even have genuine and real loving partnerships with other men without y'all sexuality being questioned. Women, we don't have to deal with that pressure. We can have loving relationships with our homegirls without it being a question of whether or not I'm eating her pussy. Y'all, it's not as easy.
I also want to argue though that and that is an unfortunate cultural thing, because men very well do need that, and there is something that most men's primary support, and I mean from a therapeutic standpoint, for who they go to for their problems, is women, and women that men have collectively, that I desire for men to be better friendships. Like they'll talk to their homeboys, but they can be going through shit. They'll go drink, they'll go watch a game, but they're not going to really talk about the difficult things that they're going through. And I think that men are trying to do better because they need that outlet. And also, like, to kind of bring it back to solo poly, one of the things that this has done for me has changed my relationship with men. That it used to be when I was kind of just like more into dating and like finding someone or different people, that if a man didn't like merge with me romantically, I was done with them. But like I don't really need you for. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, just from the concept of, I looked at it like, you not a match for me. And so I'm not interested in. What it has allowed me the freedom to do is have really better platonic relationships with men. Like, so maybe we aren't romantic partners, but like there are things that I value in a friendship that I can have with a man. And that's where the boundaries come in, like making sure I have good boundaries. But I have men who really, for the first time in my life, like heterosexual men, that I have really beautiful friendships with, that we don't match in this regard, but I'm not going to discard you because I don't see value in a relationship with you, at least romantically. And that it has just allowed me the space to have better friendships with men, and not the expectation that just because I meet you, we gonna date. Like it could be that like we just hang out and have a good time.
Because honestly, in monogamous relationships oftentimes don't leave space for you to have platonic relationships with people of the opposite sex. So like that,
I think that there's something wrong with my sound. Let me check it.
The room to have platonic relationships with people of the opposite sex oftentimes is not there. Because there is that expectation of, well, they trying to get with you, or they trying to do this with you, or they trying to do that with you. And that's just not the case. Versus when you're poly, there's a lot more freedom in that space to have those platonic relationships, and there be an understanding that it's platonic for real, and it's okay. Like, I know so many married couples who have had to, as individuals have had to abandon their platonic relationships for the comfort of their spouse. That shit is bananas to me. I never understood that, because I have a lot of amazing ass male friends that are just my friend, and I don't expect to have to leave them by the wayside just because I get with you. And I wouldn't expect you to leave your female friends by the wayside just to be with me. But having a non-monogamous mindset, it's okay. But there's so many people who have that monogamous mindset that like that shit is not platonic relationship.
The foundation of non-monogamy is transparency. Communication with that transparency. We're not trying to control a narrative. We're being honest with that, whatever that plays out, because we understand what we're practicing. Being monogamous, I don't have to be transparent with you. I'm going to tell you that at the end of the day. I mean, we know what we see. Even if it's 4 dudes and that's the one good dude, he sees the other 3 dudes, how they maneuver in their space, and they see how they move. They're questioning that, like, man, I don't want you talking to my girl. There's probably, more chances my girl talking to a man like you that because there are some players that will be patiently waiting for that chance to be that shoulder for you to come cry on, and it's just the reality of it. And then knowing that the spaces are like that, you're not being very transparent, very vulnerable, very in those spaces with your spouse. You kind of put that at the end of the day, like, man, I can't trust them or you. I don't know. I don't want y'all speaking to them. So that insecurity. And insecurity is more you problem than them, but still at the end of the day, it's not things that they're working on with a monogamous mindset. Not to offend anybody, monogamy, you still have secure relationships.
That they do exist.
So I mean, it do exist. I don't want everybody. I can't believe he just said that.
It's just not so common. And that's not to say that there are not monogamous people who are able to live and love and thrive in their platonic relationship. It does happen. It's just not as common.
Right.
So one of my last questions, right, is solo poly a phase?
I don't know.
I'll say this. You say, is it a what?
A phase.
A phase? I think that one of my criticisms of anything new is that people can jump on the bandwagon, right? And so for some people, it may be just like being polyamorous, like maybe just like some cool shit to try. This is what I'm going through in my life. But I think that collectively as a culture, we are expanding what we believe love and relationships to be, and we are allowing people to have greater definitions. But for some people, sure, absolutely. I mean, even I'd be like, everybody want to be poly
until it's time to be poly.
Like it's some cute shit to do. Everybody, and ain't nobody really with the shit, right? So yeah, sure, it can be, but I think that for a lot of people, it is not. I think that is really an individual thing. But I mean, we could argue monogamy is a phase. The divorce rate is 51% or something like that.
I will argue it's a fourth.
People be committed for like 4 good years.
People be committed for 3 good days.
No, but it's crazy. I was on a live earlier, and it was 3 gentlemen on there. And they were talking about how they experienced poly, and then they came in, they seen it was more about kink and sex and everything. I was like, well, you're talking about the wrong groups. Yeah. And it was like, that's why I would rather just deal with one. And and I was trying to get on the live because his statement was, after I realized that I used to be a player in the streets and I had multiple women. Then I went poly, trying to deal with them multiple women. I realized I just need one of me right now. I already did the Playboy. I was like,
You're not doing it right.
You're not doing it.
but you know what? Unfortunately, poly has become just this catch-all for a whole bunch of shit that just is non-monogamous. Yeah. But people just will use poly as a loose term for not being in a monogamous relationship. And that's just not the case, honey. Y'all are swingers. Okay?
Yeah. And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's fine. But don't
I think that even in poly spaces, though, I've been in poly spaces, and it's like, oh, I don't swing. like I don't know what you're looking for, but like that is not how I move. Like I'm a little bit conservative in a lot of ways, so even within the community, it is kind of like, oh, you're open to everything.
No,
but on the outside, it is definitely like, oh, well, then you just fuck who you want. It's like, actually, I don't.
They automatically associate non-monogamy with sex. Like it's just a free for all. We just out here fuck. No, there are people that look at Polypalooza. Oh, y'all just out here fuck. I got a gown on. What fucking am I doing with this full-length ass dress on? What the hell y'all think really going on? Did you not watch the video? Did you not see what's really happening? But people have this connotation with poly and fucking. It's just crazy to me.
Because it's the multiple individuals, and I was trying to explain to them on the live. It's like, it's really more or less when you come into non-monogamy, it's about finding and understanding yourself. understanding your preference, what you align with, and how to show up for these relationships that you want to sign up for. At the end of the day, you couldn't handle multiple because you couldn't even handle one. Now, all of a sudden, after you ran through what you feel like you ran through, now you're trying to find the one, not even knowing if you can handle that situation. So I thought the way they presented it, because they can find themselves in these spaces only about sex, really, you led yourself there.
Thank you.
You could
that's all you were seeking. That's all you were seeking. So, you ended up being on the fucking end because that's all you was looking for with the fucking part. Yeah. So that's where you ended up being. And now you over here like, oh, that's all they do. No, nigga, that's all you do.
You do.
There's a difference.
So my last question, right? Do you believe those? Oh, let me put this down real quick. Do you believe those that that are more or less relationship anarchists that don't believe in the relationship escalator, and some of them that already have an established primary partner are the only ones really more successful practicing solo poly? I know it was a lot to ask right there.
Wait, say it again.
So do you believe like the only three type of individuals, like it could be either or, right? That solo poly works for is like if they are relationship anarchists, you know what I mean? They don't believe in the relationship escalator, or if they already have a primary partner. Because I notice a lot of people with primary partners do identify also as solo poly to have those outside relationships. Do you believe those are the ones that are more successful practicing solo poly?
I don't know. No? I don't really. I don't know, Natasha. You might. Because what is success in relationships, right? What is success in like I
what
feel
like what does that mean?
I'm creating
that's the relationship anarchist in you.
I think that even my but I'm saying like I think that every relationship or like even my marriage was successful. We're not married, but like or my first marriage, but like it taught me something about myself, right? Like I learned from that. I grew from that. So maybe like it depends on what your definition of success is.
Success, yeah.
And so I feel like if success is like everything that like you want to go the way that you expect it to go, I would even argue maybe that's not successful because like what are you learning? How are you growing? And are there like where? So I don't know. It depends on what you.
Yeah, like what do you deem? It goes down to exactly what you're saying. What is your definition of success, right? Is your definition of success meaning that you can do this long term and you're happy? That's one thing. Or you can do it in a way that just works for you. And that's good. Like you said, your relationship, your marriage was successful, even though it ended in divorce. That doesn't make it any less successful. It just depends on what your definition of success is. But as far that answer for me is no. I don't think that any way of being will make you quote unquote more or less successful in your. It's who you are and are you aware. Take away all those titles. The anarchist, the escalator, all those things. Take away all of that. The core of you. If the core of you can be happy, living, loving, and thriving in this space, that's all that matters.
I love that. And that right there is basically with everything with non-monogamy. So solo poly does not really have no difference from thruples or quads or anything like that, because everything is about, or polygamy, polyamory, whatever, because it's about alignment and preference. At the end of the day, as long as you align with your preferences, where you're going to maneuver in that space, you can have the success and happiness. I think happiness at the end of the day is the success you're seeking, right? I mean, peace. Peace for me, shit. I hate chaos. So my life is at peace. I am successful, goddamn. No, with all that said, man, I appreciate you, Camilla. I only do this for an hour. I try to not dedicate myself too much to this, not that much anymore. But I enjoyed you tonight. Is there any last words or any advice you want to give to anybody that's coming into the community, and also where to find you at?
Yeah, so you can I guess you can find me on Instagram. That's my Haley Mack. It's my name spelled backwards. HALEEMAK 100. And you know, I think that just any advice will be just to really And I think with any relationship that people should, it may seem selfish, it's really not. I think that if we have really good insight into ourselves and what we want and desire, that makes us better partners for other people and better to ourselves. And I think that if we focus from that standpoint and maybe not looking at love and relationships as, or even being single as something we need to escape rather than something we need to embrace, that we would all be much happier. And, you know, I know that a lot of people seek partnership to build, to grow, and that's okay. But in particular for women, I think that freedom is important, right? Like, and a lot of that is financial freedom, right? And I think that we make a lot of choices because we need someone. And I think that if we spend a lot of time focusing on ourselves and finding something that we love and desire, everything else will be okay. Like everything else will be okay. And do the work when you're young, man. So, at least like build to make money. Listen, because I'm also very clear. I enjoy my life, but I did a lot of hard ass work early on. My 20s were about, I was a single mother, was about dedication. Like I got this goal. I'm not stepping away from it, you know, and I get to live a really good life where I'm not limited by like whether I have a partner or not. I really get to do what the fuck I want, like within my means. I could always make more money. Like anyone, I think, you know, what's better than one billionaire too. Like, so I'm not anti that, but like, I think that if we empower ourselves and the right partner, the right relationships, the right people you need in your life, but just to have something that really drives you and gives your life meaning, so that the only thing you seek fulfillment in is not a relationship, because like I said, things change. And you know, I'm just very fortunate. I do something that like gives my life a lot of fucking meaning. Like I feel like I help people and I make good money doing it. And so it's a nice thing to do. And just pour into yourselves, and then you can pour into people and have people pour into you, and you be okay. Maybe you be single, but you know what? I'd rather be fucking single in Jamaica, in Australia.
Damn.
Look. I'm single and struggling to pay bills.
Well, I'm solo. I'm common solo poly. So, Natasha,
shut up, Alex.
God damn it. It's gonna be my thing. I appreciate you so much for joining us and dropping so many jewels. You know, people were loving you in the comments. Make sure y'all follow her. You know what I mean? She got so much going on. Someone I love to have conversations with. And I know I owe you.
I feel like I've been trying to be his bro for so long. He's like avoiding me.
Look, I call myself, I am consistently inconsistent. That's a sign for me. They're like, dang, when you here, you here, but when you're not, you just
ain't. And ain't.
Oh man. Natasha, you got any final words?
Of course, always. First of all, thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for being active in the comments. Make sure y'all are here each and every Sunday, 8 p.m. Central. And y'all already know, Tuesday night, we brought the dating show back. I don't know if y'all missed the first episode, but it was bananas. It was crazy. Okay? It was crazy. We definitely had a wild card on there. I mean, it was a way to bring the dating show back with a bang. But if you are interested in being on the dating show, please hit me up in my DMs at It's Natasha to You, and we will gladly have you on. It's a whole lot of fun. You know, Alex keep it real cute, but I keep it real nice.
Rated G.
So please just know when it gets, you know, Alex gonna keep it, you know, real PG. He gonna ask you all of the professional questions, and I'm gonna get all up in your panties, all up in your boxes, all up in your pants if you don't wear no drawers. That's fine. I'm gonna get all up in your business. Is this what I'm saying? So y'all make sure that y'all join us on Tuesday nights. Additionally, of course, if y'all don't already know, the Poly Player Ball is going to be on June 10th in Atlanta. It's going to be lit. Okay. Get your tickets now while they still last. They are very limited right now. Like, this is definitely going to be a sellout. So please go on to the Polypalooza and get your tickets now. Alice is going to be there. I'm going to be there. That's enough. I'm there. That's more than enough for you to come. Fuck, everybody else is going to be there. I'm just kidding. We have like a bunch of amazing guests that are going to be there. But make sure you get your tickets now. It's an open bar, food galore, great entertainment. We got an award show. We having a party. Like, we are coming in your 90s, 70s, 80s player best. You know, with your pimps and hoes, you know, how you look, I might have a chinchilla, an alpaca. You gotta block that shit. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But y'all make sure that y'all join us June 10th in ATL.
Definitely. Tuesday we'll be back. Let me check in with the guests and confirm, but Tuesday more likely we'll be back. Make sure y'all check out my interview with 8 at the Table that'll be dropping soon, probably in the next few weeks. Got a couple of projects coming out later on this month, so I'll be in and out. But definitely appreciate you, Dr. Camilla, Natasha. You know what it is. Every Tuesday, every Sunday. Love y'all. Thank y'all for everybody tuned in. You know, till next time, we will see y'all.
Bye, y'all.